Hey everybody, come on in. All right, let me take the music down. All right, let's make sure we are doing well here. I think we're good to go. All right, everybody, come on in. It's been a while. Welcome back. Gosh, what are we going to call this? I don't know. We're going to do something fun tonight. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie, the substitute teacher. You may know me from my cooking channel. I make food and femininity content. Together with Lucy, we are the proud founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, which is our signature or flagship 8-week course that we teach ladies of all ages how to be the best version of themselves with elegance, etiquette, and femininity. Classes are available on demand, and then I'm sure we'll teach them again soon. We only do it twice a year. Um, if you're interested in our next upcoming class, that's actually going to be at the end of this month. In just a few weeks, July 19th, we're going to be teaching relationship basics. We like to teach our classes live for you all. So if you or anyone you know needs to restart a relationship, or you really don't know where to start, and you're interested in something traditional, Lucy and I have a 2-session course that's coming up on July 19th called Relationship Basics. It's going along the ticker there. You can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com and find out about everything that we have to offer. All right, so I wanted to take a little trip down memory lane with you all and go over my recent trip to London. Some of you all know my story on my own femininity journey, former modern woman, and I started taking classes for myself because I wanted to be the best version of myself for Mr. President. And I like to put the ladies in environments. You all know we have like a 3-day weekend. I like to put the ladies in environments that they can put into practice what they've learned in the classroom, challenge them a little bit. But I don't think I would be a good teacher, if you will, if I didn't challenge myself the same way. So I had an invitation to go to Royal Ascot in London. I'll give you all a little bit of history, and then I've got my pictures. I'm going to share my pictures with you all. You can ask any questions that you want. Happy to bring you all alongside my travels. Thank you, Aju. Love to bring you alongside my travels and let you all know what I've been what I've been up to out in the world. Okay, so let me share my screen here, and we're going to talk a little bit about what Royal Ascot is. Oh, let's see here. Share screen. We're going to go to Ascot Racecourse. Okay, if you're not familiar, like I am not familiar, we'll go to the About page and see if there's a little bit of history about Royal Ascot. But let me tell you all what I've learned in my studies. So this goes back hundreds of years. I believe Royal Ascot started in the 1700s with Queen Anne. I am not royal. I don't even plan to be. I don't even play a royal on YouTube. I'm just a mom with a cooking channel. But I am a girl and I do like nice things and I do like to challenge myself. And you never know, ladies, when you're going to get that invitation to go to the gala or to go to a fancy event. And, I don't want our ladies, especially, to be a fish out of water. So I like to go get the learnings and then bring them back. So the history is what I've learned is back in the past, especially in the UK where the weather is not that great. There was a season of time, like right now, spring, summer, or the summer season, where people would be out and about and being social. So during that season, they would have or do have all these outdoor events where the women of age could mix and mingle and be presented in society so that they could marry well and go live their lives. Some of us still believe in traditional marriage. If you don't, that's fine. I can't help you, but that's what we do over here. I like to create a sanctuary for the women that have already chosen to prioritize marriage and family in their prime. So last year, if you all were with me, we went to Cartier Polo. So they had the polo match. They have the regatta. If you're into the water boat races, y'all know I don't know this stuff. Royal Ascot is the horse racing, but they have all of these events throughout the season. So if you think of, I'm making it up, like a 3-month time period where you would try to be at as many of these events as you could to hopefully, catch the eye of a gentleman suitor and win him over, and so that you wouldn't have to return to another season unwed. So that's where it started. It's still very much tradition today, and I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to attend. So let me see if I can share a little bit about the history, and then we're going to get right into it. As always, if you have questions, let me know. Let's see what they say here about the history of Royal Ascot if you've ever been to London. Wow, look at this picture, y'all. All the way back from I don't know how long, and it still very much kind of looks like that today. Okay, so it started in 1711. So you can see here, this is gosh, over 250 years old. And it started with Queen Anne. She found the places for the horses to gallop, so on and so forth. I'm not going to read it to you, but you can see here that this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. And one of the things that I love about traveling, I'm just going to scroll through this quickly. One of the things that I love about traveling is not just, to get up and go somewhere, but I really do like to learn from other cultures, especially other, I'll say, ancient cultures. As an immigrant, very grateful to be an American, but you don't really realize how young the U.S. is, only, 300 years old, when you've been to places that have been doing whatever they do, however they do it, for hundreds, if not thousands of years. If you all were with me, you know that I just came back from China as well. And I think it's very humbling and it's very telling to see how other people take pride in what they've been doing long before we got here. So again, if you're going to travel into someone else's territory, show respect and appreciate what you can and enjoy, and then come back to your own life. We got Christina in the house. Hello. Thank you so much for being here as well. All right. So that's a little bit of the history of Royal Ascot. Oh, there's a fly in here. I'm going to try not to lose my mind. The door was left open. Okay, so I'm going to go to my pictures and walk you all through. I will focus on Royal Ascot since we're going to be talking about the horse races, but there's so much that I did while I was there. If you have questions, I've got answers, but I was in New York already, or was planning to be in New York for kind of a YouTube invite for content creators, film people. I'm not a professional, but B&H Photo was having like their huge expo, and it was a 2-day event in New York. So instead of coming all the way back to Atlanta where I live, I decided to fly to London from New York and then back to New York after Royal Ascot, and then home to London. In the past, I've gone direct from Atlanta. So I have, let's see here, let's share our London bridges not falling down. Let's share those pictures, and I'll walk you all through it. Okay, so I'm just going to skim through these. I started at me leaving New York to London Heathrow. So if you all are interested in any of the travel details, I can go through that with you, but I'm just going to scroll through these. We are now landing in London, and I got my little Airbnb, and we will start on the day of Royal Ascot. So you all know I have a stylist, and so Rhea picked out this dress for me. Lots of different options, but I thought this was very nice. One of the things to know, let me see if I can share. The dress code, especially when you go to other countries, they are a lot more modest than what we consider acceptable here in the US. And I love that. I think modesty is great. Less is always more. But when you go to Royal Ascot, there is a very strict dress code. Let me see if I can show y'all here. We were looking at the history. Let me just go back. Royal Ascot. So you'll notice here, when you go to the horse races, it's a huge racing course, I guess is what you would call it. but they have different, they call them enclosures. So if you think about the modern day stadium, the way we have it, like if you go to a concert or a sporting event, you know how they have different boxes for maybe premium or VIP, or your company may rent out a box. I think that's awesome. Thank you. They call them enclosures. So you can see here, they have enclosures, the Queen Anne, Windsor, Village. There's a strict dress code for each enclosure. And I was in the royal enclosure, which is the most formal or the fanciest. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see here, if you're in the royal enclosure where I was, I'll just go ahead and click on this one. We won't go through all of them. Let's see what's the required, because some people wanted to know what the men were wearing, what the ladies were wearing. So you can see here, even though these are models, you can see that it's very much a timeless, maybe old English style. But there's a dress code for ladies. We can wear a dress or skirt. It tells you about the length of the skirt. It tells you about the fabrics that you can wear. If you're going to have shoulder straps, they have to be an inch wide minimum. So none of this spaghetti straps and all of your stuff spilling out, that's not acceptable. Let's see what else. You can have a pantsuit as long as the top and the bottom match, and all these other things here. So they tell you specifically what is acceptable. And then for gentlemen too, you have to wear a top hat. You have to wear, they call this morning dress, which is the jacket with the tails, which I think is very stylish. Our Scottish brothers were wearing their kilts. So you can see here, and then black shoes and socks. The point is this, and we teach the ladies this in the finishing school. Some of you care, some of you don't care. But the dress code for any event sets the tone, and it's a way of showing respect. If someone says that there is a certain dress code for any event that you're being invited to, it's important to respect the dress code. And if you don't know, you should ask. And that's one of the reasons why I put the ladies through, a casual event, a formal event, and then even like, we call it Sunday best for afternoon tea. But I don't want our ladies to be scrambling and, again, to be a fish out of water and look out of place. Christina says you've always wanted to go to London. All right, I'm taking you with me. All right. So, we got Katrina in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so as you all can see, there's a dress code for each enclosure, and you can go to any of the enclosures that you have access to that are below your enclosure, meaning I was in the royal enclosure, so I can go to Queen Anne, I can go to Village, I can go to whatever the other enclosures are, but they cannot go up. And so I'll just scroll through here so you can see, and I'll make my little PSA about it. As you go down in the enclosure, the dress code is more relaxed. Here's the other thing I'm going to say about this, and then we'll move on to the pictures. Again, like I said, I love to go to other cultures to appreciate how they've done whatever they've done. And whatever you think about royalty or not, we're all common people here. But I've learned that in cultures that have different classes, people accept their standing and they're not trying to change it. The royals aren't trying to be common. Likewise, the commoners aren't trying to be royals. I think this thing that we have in the US that is a beautiful concept about anybody can have anything, anybody can go anywhere, we all belong, maybe in America. But in other cultures, there are clear delineations. Your badge is different if you're in the royal enclosure. I'll show you all the pictures. Your accommodations are different. So I'm very grateful to have that experience. But, again, if you get the opportunity to travel somewhere, don't go changing things. Just, as we say, sit down and don't touch nothing. All right. So that is a little bit of the the history and the dress code. So now I'm going to pick back up with the pictures. And once I sent my dress code to my stylist, Rhea picked out this beautiful dress for me. It has a little bit of lace here, still very modest, very covered. One of the requirements for the royal enclosure is that you have to have a hat with a minimum 4-inch base. So down to the size of the hat, right? Yes, that's interesting. It is very interesting. All right, so I wanted to make sure I was dressed for the occasion. And my Airbnb host helped me find a makeup artist that put me together. She did a very natural, you can see here, done up, but not too fancy, a very nice, and I think almost mother of the groom look. So I have my fascinator, I have my hat, I'm in my Airbnb ready to go. All right, so my tickets were waiting for me at the front. So you can see I arrived and then I went to pick up my Royal Ascot. And you can see here this says day 5. So Royal Ascot, like a lot of these events, last year when I went to Cartier Polo, a lot of these events during the season are multiple days long. So I went on the last day, which was day 5. So I think it was Tuesday through Saturday. So you can go multiple days. I had that trip in New York, so I went on the last day to give myself some travel time. But again, remember the reason that they do this is so that, ladies could be presented to society and make the most of the time when the season was warm and welcoming, so you could be out, you could mix and mingle, and hopefully if you caught the eye of a nice gentleman at an event, you could return, day after day or event after event to see him and hopefully make a connection. Christina says, you look very beautiful, Maggie. Thank you, sweetheart. Always want to represent you all well and represent myself well. So I was very comfortable and very happy. All right, so I picked up my tickets and they also gave me a badge that you will see. So I made it to the Sandringham restaurant. So, I'm not sharing with you all. I made it to the Sandringham restaurant and found the space that was set up for me. So it's a beautiful table setting here. So there's the menu, your salt and pepper, your butter, and this is the most formal place setting. You see your bread plate, your starter fork, your main, your appetizer knife, your main knife. This is the race card, and then your dessert cutlery. So again, do we eat like this every day? No. And you can see in the back, the other people are at the table. Men are all in their morning dress. The ladies have their hats on. You'll see more of that beautiful centerpiece. And again, I enjoy this. For some of you, it may seem like, oh my gosh, that's too much. But I like the challenge. I love the experience, but also I want to go have these experiences and then bring that knowledge back. And then I just think, again, I should push myself to be, in mixed company so that I can learn and then come back and be, the Maggie that I am every day. Hello, Rodney. He says, hello, Miss Maggie. Okay. So you all got to see the place setting there. So again, the race card. So since this is a horse race, there is actual betting going on. It's all part of the event. Do I know anything about horse racing? No. Like I told you all, if you watched when I was posting, they have this whole book with the names of the horses, the name of the jockey, the history about them, how many races they won. I don't know anything about that. If I like their uniform, I bet on them. So it was all in fun. I think I had either $10 or $20, 10 pounds or 20 pounds. That was my limit for the day. So I just did like $1 here, $5 there, just to kind of participate in it. There are people who can make a lot of money if you know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just happy to be here. All right. So that was what was on the center of the table. That was the race card here. So you could look at this booklet. Y'all know I'm here for the menu, but you could look at this booklet and learn all about it. And they have one of the benefits of being in the royal enclosure is instead of having to go to the bookies or whatever that thing is where everybody's shouting and they have their tickets, they have people come to the tables to take your bets. So you don't have to go anywhere if you don't want to. Hello, Killis is here. Hello, my dear. Okay, so I made my way. I found my my table. and it's beautiful. So I'm just showing you on my place setting. Of course, Moet or Moet everywhere. So lots of champagne. I had still water. If you want sparkling, they have all that. And I put my clutch down in the chair. A little etiquette tip, ladies. When you are dining, and we teach the ladies this in the finishing school, nothing goes on the table that's not part of the dinner service or the meal service. So your phone, your keys, your lipstick, your purse, all of that, none of that on the table. If you have a clutch, that can go in your lap underneath your napkin, or it can go in the small of your back because you're not sitting all the way back. All right, make sure you have good posture for those of you all who are interested. All right, so that is my table for the day. Now, the before I get into the food, and all of this I had to learn, I didn't know. I think the gates open at 10 a.m. There's about 5 to 7 races throughout the day. So there's a whole program for the day. So the doors open at 10 a.m. I didn't get there until about 11 after doing the makeup. Then they start the meal service. Since I was in the royal enclosure, I actually had a proper, like, 3-course meal served at the table. If you're in some of the other enclosures, it can be more like pub food. I did leave and go see what the other enclosures were doing. The food and beverage wasn't included. You would almost have to go to what we would call like a concession stand, and they had like pizza and pretzels and stuff like that. But I wanted to experience the upgraded service. So they would come and bring the food to you. You could leave and they would prepare whatever you wanted if you wanted to walk around the track. Inside the restaurant that I was in, they had TV screens up. So it was almost like being in a really nice box. TV screens up where you could watch the race in the air conditioned comfort, or you could leave and go down to the track if you wanted to. They had outdoor area as well, which I will show you all. Let's go back in. All right, so the meal service is starting. I can't remember what this was. Yes, this was the salmon tartare. So this is raw salmon for those of you all who eat sushi. It was delicious. I can't remember what the sauce was, but we've got some sesame seeds and some veggies there. That was a beautiful cold starter. I'm taking a look at the race card, and I've got my British pounds here. Welcome to Royal Ascot. I should have brought them with me. I have all my little souvenirs. I think they're in another room. So you can read about it if you want to, or honestly, like I shared with you all, I was just asking questions. So in addition to the dining service on the menu, they had a full buffet that was replenished throughout the day. You could grab these little items. So what was this? Shrimp cocktail. These were a beautiful spread that was up. So if you ever wanted to refresh, you could. So I got one of each of those, and then I asked her to make me a cocktail. I forgot what this is called. I think a dark and stormy. It was excellent. It was wonderful. Okay, so here's a view of the restaurant so you all can see. So we are in what would be considered, if you've ever been to like an outdoor wedding, like a beautiful tent enclosure, but it had full, very nice facilities. And of course, it had climate control. It was wonderful. Killa says yum, and Christina says yum. Absolutely. So you can see here, this restaurant is called the Sandringham. So this was in the royal enclosure. So you can see again, all of the ladies had hats on. All of the men had morning dress. This was my waitress, Ellie. She was wonderful. So she would come make sure I had whatever I needed. She was also tending to the buffet here. So you can see here, this is formal dining with the white tablecloth and the proper glassware and serveware. So again, because this is the royal enclosure, everything was at the top. You don't have to participate in Royal Ascot that way. You can go to the horse races. Think about any concert that you've been to or any sporting event. You have people in the premium boxes. You have people like on the grounds level or the floor level. And then you have people who can't get in that are watching it and doing it, with tailgating, like in the parking lot. So all of that was going on. So I'm showing y'all the experience from the premium view, but you don't have to participate at this level. You can go to Royal Ascot and just have a great time just to be there if you want to. All right, so let's go back in. So this is the restaurant that I was in. This is the Sandringham, and you can see again, there's some TV screens back here. There's a bar in the back. So they make it so that you don't have to leave this if you don't want to. I met some lovely people. I actually met a couple. There were a few Americans there. I met a lovely lady from Florida, and I met a lovely couple who own a restaurant in Charleston, South Carolina, who have invited me there to come review their restaurant. So stay tuned. These events are wonderful for networking, ladies. You just cannot, if you don't mind, meeting new people and striking up a conversation and being naturally curious, doors open up if you're pleasant and if you are respectful, and a lot of doors can open up for you. So I'm very, very grateful. Okay, let's continue on. So I ordered the duck, and I know this looks a little, shishi poo poo because it is, but this is Michelin star. This was, I think, duck breast here with a little bit of the skin on it, a nice little puree. I don't know, I think this is bok choy. And then right here was like a puff pastry with some more duck meat inside of it. Now look, some of y'all may look at this and say, what in the world? I'm here for the experience, okay? We can have carnival food anytime. If you want burgers and fries and pretzels and pizza, they had all of that. You could leave the restaurant and go down to the grounds, and they had all of that there. And believe me, I went to explore, but I wanted to experience the Michelin star dining. I don't think I've ever been to a Michelin restaurant, and that's what you'll get in the Royal enclosure. So that was my entree that I chose, and I really enjoyed it. It was delicious. All right, so there's Maggie. You all can see, and there's a little picture of the buffet behind, so you can see they have champagne all around. There's Ellie and the manager. They took wonderful care of me. So you can see here they're replenishing the buffet, but I also had dinner service or meal service as well. So as far as the schedule, the doors open like at 10, unlimited everything. So if you are if you're a drinker, I'm a lightweight, you could have whatever you want. It was included. Even if you left the Sandringham and you had like a champagne glass, they would transfer it into a plastic champagne flute for you so that you could walk the grounds with your beverage, because you can't have glass outside of the restaurant. If you were going out with a group, they would assemble a pitcher for you in like a little elegant bucket kind of thing so that you could have whatever you needed. When I tell you the service was incredible, the service was incredible. Rodney says, "What, nothing deep fried?" No, I wasn't in the South. I was across the pond. Your Maggie was trying to be as elegant as possible across the pond. So nothing deep fried. Don't worry. We came back. I'm back home, and we can fry up anything that you want. Okay, so there's Maggie, and I'm enjoying myself, and they're taking wonderful care of me. I did tell them that I would be making content. I had a cooking channel, so they spoiled me. They brought out everything multiple times. Try this, try that. So you can see these are big air conditioners that they have in the back, blasting, so keeping the whole place cold or cool. And then the facilities, ice cream, and everything that you could imagine. Okay. So just some more pictures of me, and let's see if y'all can see me, that's fine. But you can see this buffet stand, so it wraps all the way around. It's square, and then they had another one in front of me on this side of the restaurant. So lots of food, plus some hot stations or some action stations where they were doing carving and all of that. So plenty of food. Oh, Rodney likes the dress. Thank you. Rhea always makes sure that I look nice for you. Also, shout out to Paper Doll Factory for styling me once again. Okay, so I wanted to take a picture in front of the sign. So again, I'm in this restaurant called Sandringham at Royal Ascot. I'll see if I can show you all. So if we were looking overview of the racetrack, of course, it's a race course, and then they have the stands, and then the royal section is all the way at the end. So it was beautiful. and that was the Sandringham restaurant where I was. All right, let us continue. All right, so just some more pictures, and then I'm going to go outside so you all can see. I wanted you all to see here. So these men are making their way outside. Look at this. Look at the hat stand, almost like a coat check. Do you see? Do you see the hats here? Because the top hat is required as part of the dress code, but when people would come in, they would check your hats for you, and then as you're on your way out, you could turn in your glass and they would put it into a plastic champagne flute. But I just never seen that before. I thought it was quite British that you could check your hat at the hat check or coat check. So I pick up on stuff like that. I don't know. I notice things like that everywhere. Okay, so I did take time to walk down to the racetrack. So let me explain here. So I'm in the restaurant. They open around 10. Lunch is served around noon. And then with each day of the races, since this is a royal event, the King of England, His Majesty, Prince Charles, they always have a royal procession, almost like an opening of the games. You know how we have the Olympics and they always have like the opening ceremony? So every day when the race begins, they have a royal procession where, you know, on the day that I was there, His Majesty King Charles and Queen Camilla, they are in their royal carriage and they basically do like a lap to kind of wave to everybody. Still blows my mind. So I wanted to actually leave the restaurant and go down and see that with my own eyes. And then they have their different guests, and in the menu or in the program, it tells you who's in the first carriage, who's in the second carriage, who's in the third carriage, and the fourth carriage. So I went down to go see that. So they're getting the area ready for the processional. Let me see if it shows here. Okay, it's a little hard to see, but you can see the royal procession carriage list. So the first carriage, the king, the queen, so on and so forth. So it lets you know who is in each carriage. All right, let me see what's happening here. I'm not exactly sure, but you can see here around the track how everybody is kind of coming to the edges here. So you can see people have brought their drinks. So we're lining up around the edge because everybody wants to get a good view. Because if that's important to you or not, it's very rare that you're going to be that close. So you all can see there's Maggie, and you can see in the back. So this is the like the general stands of the race course. Let me see if I can take myself down. All right, so you can see the carriage is coming by here. They've already done their lap, but I just wanted to take a picture. So you can see there's people here in the stands. This is maybe more of the general attendance, if you will. And then they have restaurants here. And then I'm over here at the far end where the royal enclosure is. So you can see I have this badge, if you will. Will it go up? Okay, Miss Margaret Brown, you can see here, and each color represents something different. So you're supposed to present your badge at all times. Again, that's their way of knowing who's who and who belongs where. So when you have a royal badge on or the royal enclosure, you can go anywhere. You can go down to the lower areas. You have basically access of everything, but different badge colors get you different access, and that's just how they do things. So again, I'm very grateful to have that experience. All right. So I went down and I was able to capture the royal procession. So now it's time for the games to begin, or the race to begin. All right, so with the races, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the pictures. So we've opened the doors. We've had lunch served. The food is out all day. You can pretty much eat. They're always replenishing it, but it starts at noon. Then they have the royal procession, I think, around 2 o'clock. And then the rest of the day is races. And I think they have 7 races. The races are fast because horses run fast, and they're every like 35 to 40 minutes. So there's like a 3 o'clock and then a 3:35 and then like a 4:20, on and on. And then the last race, I believe, is in the 6 p.m. time frame. And then after the last race, They had the big bandstand with the music and the dancing, and that's when people start to turn up because they've been turning up all day. And that's when it's really fun to go down to the other areas because they were having a really good time. So it definitely is an all day event. So, yes, ladies, if you ever get the opportunity to go, and gentlemen too, plan to be there all day. Okay, so you can see a little bit. This is outside of the restaurant, the Sandringham that I'm in. So if you want the climate control, you can be inside, or they had this nice seating out here just to show you. Again, women had their hats on. The men had on their morning dress, suit, vest, top hat. That was required. So everywhere you looked, it just seemed like you were in an old movie. Like I could put this in black and white. And I don't know, it just felt like a period piece. I thought it was lovely. So you can see these gentlemen here also have their royal enclosure badge. Ladies, one mistake that I made, I did have flats with me to change into. It is a lot of walking. So it's not uncommon. Either ladies had, some of us had heels on. Some brought heels to change into. If I go again, probably won't, but if I go again, I would probably wear wedges because when you wear a pointy heel on the grass, you already know what's going to happen. But I did have some sandals to change into because, again, being in the royal area, it's kind of set apart. So you're going to do a lot of walking. And then, honestly, the Uber that brought me, once you get close, because there's so much traffic, it's just easier to get out and just walk the rest of the way instead of inching your way towards the front. So make yourself comfortable, but definitely mind the dress code. Okay, so let's see what else. So just more pictures so you all can see. I was just taking lots of candids. They had so much stuff outside. I think they had ATMs if you needed, more money. They had restaurants and different things everywhere. Of course, sponsored by Moet. So they had the Moet bar. Her dress is lovely, and I love that hat. So in the royal enclosure, you just walk up and it was just flowing. If you're into champagne, you would have loved it. Of course, I had a glass, but yes, everywhere was just Moet. But you can again see some have wedges on, some have heels on. So this is more of the AstroTurf, but if you go down to the track, it's actual grass. All right. So you have the champagne bar. There's Maggie. I'm on my way out. So this is me in front of the Sandringham. So you can see inside, there's the hat check. This is where, I don't know if you can see right here on the left, those are the plastic glasses that they'll change so you don't have to carry glass outside. But this is the outside view if you wanted to come out and take a look. Killa says, Maggie always looks smashing. You are too kind, my dear. And here's the thing. I need help with this stuff. My usual uniform is, mom carpool to kitchen. But I do think it's important, ladies. I had a friend of mine tell me, Maggie, before I started working with you, I didn't have any dresses in my closet. It has become very comfortable and common for women to just dress like dudes. And if that's what you want to do, fine. Who am I? I'm not going to fight you. But you don't want to scramble when that opportunity comes or that invitation comes. So for me, I like to do things like this at least once or twice a year to keep myself in the frame of mind of being elegant, even if it's just for a day. I think you can be elegant every day, but you don't want to be awkward when it's time to put on a dress and heels if you want to be a lady. That's just my opinion, but thank you all so much for the compliment. I'm glad that you all liked it. Okay, so I wanted to do some exploring. Let's see. Okay, so now I actually wanted to go to the horse races. So you can see now we're actually on grass. So we are, let me see if I can explain this. And I don't know much about horse racing. So a horse track is like an oval. The starting line was all the way down at the end where the regular seating was, and the finish line was close to where the royal enclosure was. So I came out of the restaurant and walked a little bit down to the race area. Y'all know I don't know this stuff. And as much as I don't like animals, y'all know me and animals, but it is beautiful. Like if you've never seen a racehorse in person, like it's just amazing to see them in their element. You can tell that they're very well taken care of. Beautiful hair, beautiful muscles. So they've just crossed the finish line, and you can see they're kind of galloping slowly. So again, you can see the ladies and the gentlemen in their dress code. I'm just there, happy to be there, taking it all in, having a great time, wondering how I got here. All right, so then when I got hot, I went back inside, and of course, they had more snacks for me to try. I don't know what this pastry is. It looks like some peach and a mousse. Everything was good. I think I went to the action station and got, I think this is some lamb and asparagus and potatoes. I tried everything, y'all. This was definitely a team greedy day, and they made me do it. No, I had a good time. I didn't eat it all, but I tasted everything as much as I could try. I absolutely did. All right. So again, sponsored by Moet. One thing I don't understand, can someone explain to me? It's 2025. How is this vintage 2026? I am not a sommelier. I'm not a wine snob or a champagne snob. And as I understand, you can't really call it proper champagne unless it comes from Champagne, France, or something like that. It looks delish. Thank you. Can someone let me know how this champagne is year 2026? But either way, I enjoyed myself. It was delightful. So you all can see here inside, they'll serve you with glass, but if you need to go outside, they'll transfer to a cup. So they were circling around. Excellent service. You know, would you like a top up? That's what they call it. We call it a refill. They said a top up. So learn a little bit of lingo. It's always fun for me. Okay. So now it's time for desserts. Got some berries and I don't know, y'all. I just got something and everything. I just said I'll try it all, and it was all good. This looks like some type of berry crumble. This looks like some type of caramel crumble, and then fruit berries. It's all good. It's just all good. I made my way around the buffet just so you all could see. These were out and replenished throughout the day. They had, for example, the smoked salmon with baby greens. They had a whole cheese spread. You can see the brie here with some crackers. These wonderful, crusty, buttery, like honey drizzled crackers. Y'all, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. That was that was 2016. I'm so embarrassed. Oh, so it was a 9-year-old wine or champagne. Y'all, look at me. I thought this said 2026. And the whole time I was there, I was like, how do you have a 2026 wine? Like I told y'all, I'm just happy to be here. I learned something today. So apparently, I had a 2016 champagne, not a 2026, because it's not 2026 yet. Okay, I've already embarrassed myself. Thank you, Killis. See, I can learn. Who knew? Killis knew. All right. Tell me that doesn't look like a two. Oh, it doesn't look like a two because look at the two in the front. Y'all, this is why I stay in the kitchen. This is a two. This is a one. So this is a 2016 Moet or Moe. Thank you, dear. All right, let's go back out where the people are. So I decided to leave the royal enclosure and I wanted to see what was going on down here. Of course, you can watch it on the TV, but you all can see here. I'm just going to zoom in. It was people for miles. It was so much. So way back here, this is the start line. And way back over here where I was behind us is the royal enclosure. So I wanted to get up here, see a bird's eye view. I wanted to go down to the grounds. Since I can explore everywhere, I decided to. So I went inside. You can see here they have this curved building. And then I took a look. I wanted to watch the race. Y'all can see how you thought I thought it looked like a two. Y'all know I don't know these things. But anyway, this is a view of Royal Ascot. So just like any other race, you can see there's people on the inside track here. The horses would come through. Okay, so you see this little fence here for those of y'all that are into horses. They would kind of come through from this under tunnel with the jockeys, and then they would come out, and then they would go onto the track. You can see everybody's dressed. It was just beautiful. A lot of good times. You know, people were curious. It was just wonderful to be, you know, madam, you know, everywhere. I like a little bit of formality. I don't think that you know, those things are antiquated. It's just really nice for all of us to be respectful towards each other. And it was lovely. It was absolutely lovely. So this is a view from up top. I wanted to see that. All right, so you can see here we're getting ready for another race. So you can see the jockeys are on their horses. They're coming out through the tunnel. So these people wanted to be right down in the action, in the sun and everything, which is great. Not everybody wanted to be out there, but so they would come out through here, and you could see some of their owners or whoever was here, some of the press, and then when it was time for the race, they would come off the track. So they would run or gallop. Do horses run? Gallop? Y'all know I don't know. So they would move their bodies up through here and then go up into the starting blocks or whatever it's called. I don't know, but it was just lovely to see how they do all of this. So of course, they gave me a little Union Jack flag. So I'm up there ready to cheer for whoever's uniform I like the best. I have my little disposable Moet. You love tradition. I do too. And I'm here for it. I want to learn how everybody does what they do where they are. Because just like we don't want people to telling us what to do, they don't want us telling them what to do. So I think if you go, if you show natural curiosity, if you don't have an attitude of why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. You can really just have fun, and people love to explain their ways and their tradition. I love it. I can't get enough. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. So I'm up at the top ready to watch another race. The races themselves, maybe 30 to 45 seconds. Because if you think about it, especially for the ones that are straightaways, you know, they start. I don't know if they count down or shoot a gun or whatever. I don't know. I really wasn't paying that much attention, y'all, but it was wonderful. But once they would start, you know, these horses are running really fast and people are cheering and they're clapping and they're, you know, hoping that their horse wins. And then they gallop in front of you fast and they get to the finish line. And you have another 30 minutes to either, you know, cheer or commiserate or refresh your drink or refresh your food. It was just amazing. And you do it 7 times, you know, until the day is over. Gillis says they do gallop, but they race where you were. Okay, so the horses raced to the end. Y'all know I don't know this stuff. Thank you, dear. Thank you. All right, so I'm up in the stands. I'm watching. I'm having a great time. I'm meeting people. I'm shaking hands. I'm kissing babies. Not really, but you know what I mean. It was lovely. Okay. So between the races, I don't know who these people are, but they must be very important people because you could see maybe they were some of the owners or some of the very important people. They would kind of come down and talk to their jockeys. They would have the press stand there. So whoever was the winner, you know how they do after anybody wins a race, they come and ask you, put the microphone in front of your face. You know, how did you feel crossing that turn? Or this one got in front of you again. I'm just happy to be there. So all of that was going on, and then they clear, and then they set up for the next race in about 30 minutes, and then they do it all over again. All right. So let us continue on. It was lovely, a beautiful day, and this is very rare for London. There's usually just overcast. It was a beautiful sunny day. Almost, it was hot. All right, so you can see some more horses galloping. You can see the dress code down where I am is a little bit more relaxed. You can see the men don't have to have their suit jackets and their hats. So I don't know, I might have been in the Queen Anne or somewhere enclosure But it was just nice to see. So everybody can participate. And it was just beautiful to watch them. I do have some videos up on my page. I have a playlist for London. You can check my YouTube if you're interested in that. All right, so I went into another restaurant just to be nosy and see, so you all can see the difference here. These people are in whatever restaurant they're in a different enclosure. Still very nice. They have their afternoon tea, but you can see it's a little bit less fancy than where I was. And with each enclosure, as you went down, it was a little bit more relaxed, and people can go wherever they want to go. Gillis is asking me who won. Let me tell you something. There was a horse named Humidity. I thought we were cheering for the weather because it was hot, unseasonably hot for London. They were all saying it was boiling hot. I'm in Atlanta. I'm used to, sticky heat. But they were like, oh, humidity, humidity. So I was just like, humidity, humidity. Y'all, the horse's name was Humidity, and apparently he won. So that just tells you as much as I know. Again, I placed my bet on the jockey uniform that I like the best. I did win. I think I won like £6. So that's all I can tell you. Again, I'm just happy to be here. My life is all about collecting experiences and coming back. All right. So Humidity won one of the races. That's all I know. All right, so let's continue on. Okay, so now inside the racetrack, I wanted to take a look. So if you all saw, we have the race course, and then we have that whole like area where the outdoor seating is, and then behind that they have like the concession stands and different things there. So I wanted to walk around and be nosy and see what was going on. Gillis is laughing at me. If I ever meet you, you think he's of course, absolutely, we gotta meet Gillis. But yeah, Humidity was one of the horses. But that's the thing; they all have like, I'm not gonna say weird. Let's see over here, but they have very interesting names. Like, you all tell me, if you had a horse, what would your horse's name be? I don't know. If I had a horse, his name would probably be like Bucky or something like that. I don't know. Let's see if the winnings are on here. Owners and trainers. I wonder if it has some horse names on here we can look at. Oh, racing information. I was going to see if they had. Oh, that's not what I was looking for. But anyway, I was going to see if they had the horse names on here. But y'all will see these horse names are not, like Charlie or anything like that. It's something very, very interesting. So, all right. So all I know is Humidity won one of them. You would name your horse Ribs. Of course you would. Of course you would. Silly. Okay, so let's take a look inside. So they have 3 different levels you can see. So I'm just kind of standing up, looking down, and you all can see there's escalator. It was teeming with people. Sometimes people would want to be outside, but between races, they would come inside. There was facilities. Of course, they would have different barricades, if you will, for who could go to what areas. Again, that's how they do it. You can see here they did have some TVs, so if you wanted to watch from inside, you could. So coming from the royal enclosure, you'll notice again the men in their morning suits and their top hats. And then as you go to the other areas that aren't roped off, it gets more casual. So you can see inside here, they have like some indoor, more like cafe kind of areas. So you could come down here if you wanted to. They, of course, had the gift shop. They had equine stuff if you're into horses. I don't know if y'all can see this back here, but do you see right in front of the escalator? And since this is London, we go on the left side and come down on the right, just like they drive on the left. So these people are going up and this is the side coming down. You see how it says Royal Enclosure? So there's someone there checking your badge to make sure that you have permissions to go to the Royal Enclosure. Gillis says, I love reading horse names and races. They have the most fun names. Yeah, absolutely. I'll see if I can find it at the end, but some of these horse names, humidity was one of them. So all right. So just again, just showing you all some things inside. Then I wanted to come down to the grounds. All right. So I wanted to get close to the action. So now I've come down outside of the Sandringham, outside of the stands, down to the ground level where the fence is. And then I turn behind me to look at all the people. So that's the view that you're seeing here. So you can see this is where I just was inside. So I don't know how many levels that they have. But yeah, everybody is out here. You can see they wanted to stay in the shade. I didn't mind coming out to the sun. But I just wanted to take it all in because it was fascinating. I've never seen anything like that before. Again, make this a black and white picture. Wouldn't this be like 18 something? And I just think it's beautiful. Again, looking at all the dresses, looking at all the hats, looking at everybody style themselves. It was just wonderful. It was just absolutely beautiful for me. I still love, the tradition, everybody's tradition. Okay, so then I turn around and I'm looking at the actual track. So I guess this gentleman is cleaning it. Oh, can you see here? I don't know if y'all can see that. It says the winner is Get It. Now, you tell me, if they're cheering and this horse's name is Get It, and everybody's yelling, Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Can you understand why I might be a little bit confused? So we've already had the humidity experience. And then the next race winner, his horse was Get It. All right. So yeah, you can see why I was a little bit confused, but that was this horse right here, the winner. All right. So then between races, again, people would go cash in, take their winnings to the bookie area. So just some more pictures I took so you all can see, there's the mirror here. You can see this is behind me. I had a wonderful time. I did some walking around indoors. They have some relics of times gone by, like some carriages. If you're interested in history, they have just things to see, some old uniforms. If you're into museumy kind of stuff, if you want to come outside, you can see here. They have the lawn area. So they had everything. Let's see what else. All right. Then when you are ready to go back to your nice, quiet kept area, you could leave the common area and go back to the royal enclosure, which I was very grateful to have access. And I did that a couple times. I wanted to come out, see everything, be in the mix of everything, the buzzing, mix and mingle with people. And then when it was time to sit down for a spell and refresh myself, I did. I went back to the royal enclosure. So that was pretty much my day. And I had a wonderful time. So back in the royal enclosure, it was time for afternoon tea. They had served afternoon tea. So there was a plate waiting for me since I missed it walking around. They made a nice little gift bag for me with some treats in there. I think I have it in another room. They put so many different sandwiches, egg sandwich, chicken, coronation chicken, ham sandwich, maybe cucumber, salmon, and then some scones, some jam, clotted cream, pastries. Literally every time I turned around, they were bringing something else to me and my little Union Jack flag. So that was pretty much the race day. It was so much fun. After the last race, then the party started, or maybe the after party. So they had like the British, like Royal National Band. I'm sure I'm messing up the name, but they did like the national anthem and all of those like formal songs. And then the DJ cut loose. And I went back to the common area, and y'all can see they were having a good time. You can already see here they're dancing. Everybody is got their liquid courage. The DJ is doing his or her thing, and I was down for the action. Once I got tired of that, I came back to the Sandringham. Um, I just loved her dress. The picture doesn't even do it justice. These are like crystals or something. So every time she walked, she just looked like Cinderella. It was just the prettiest thing for me. Um, and let's see, there's me and Ellie before I left, my waitress. She did an amazing job taking care of me. And I'm very, very grateful. So yeah, I'll just show you all the last pictures. I stayed till the end because I was going to get an Uber back, but I just waited for everything to end. Took some pictures as I was leaving of the grounds, the Queen Anne enclosure. It was a wonderful experience. This is in the regular area. Everybody was having a great time. They were, oh, I love her polka dots over here. They were just having a wonderful time. Everybody was in their section, and it was great. So lots of pictures, lots of food, and then it was time to wrap up. I think that's it. Yeah. The rest is just travel back. So that was my Royal Ascot experience in London. Again, I'm very grateful to be able to attend and share some of these things with you all. We can go anywhere, we can participate in anything. I think, again, just showing respect for people, for their culture, appreciating what they do, and then coming back to your own. But like I love to put our ladies through some tests. I like to put myself through some tests as well, put myself outside of my comfort zone, because I think that's how you grow and you appreciate it. And then you come back to your everyday. There's a name for it. I'll call it the regular area, but y'all know what I mean. But it was so much fun. I had fun. It was like the Titanic. If you've ever seen the Titanic, maybe this isn't a good analogy, but you know how they had the area where it was very formal, and then you came down to like steerage and they were playing the banjo and having a good time. And y'all know somewhere there is a conga line with my name on it. So that's my problem. Like, I love having a good time and I like nice things too. So I was ping ponging back and forth between the royal area and the regular area. So it was fun. Yeah, I'm glad you all liked it. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Just wanted to show you all. I got lots more planned. Lucy is going to be working. I think she shared with you all. She's going to be working on Wednesday. She used to work from home, but now she has to go back in the office. And since she's West Coast, it doesn't work with her schedule anymore. So we used to be with you all Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's just going to be Saturdays now. So if I have something special, I'll share with you all on Wednesdays. If not, we'll be with y'all once a week. I would just encourage you to turn on your notifications if you like my content. I always schedule in advance. I don't just pop up live. So if you see something, you can turn on the reminder and it'll let you know when I go live. Again, if you or anybody you know is interested in learning about relationships from two older women with combined 40 years of marriage experience, we would love to teach you. Relationship Basics is a 2-session course. We teach it live. It's private on Zoom. Go to teachablemoments.com to register, and we'll send you a calendar invite. It starts July 19th. So Lucy and I will be back Saturday. If you want relationship content, we will do part 2 of the Women in Debt, because y'all already know we can do better. And then Friday, I'll be cooking up something if you want the food content on TikTok, on Food Talk TV. So thank you all for having fun. Thank you, Gillis, for dropping the links. Thank you, everybody on Instagram for being in here. And thank you, everybody on TikTok for being here. And thank you, Royal Ascot, for taking such good care of me all the way from across the pond. It was excellent service, and I'm grateful to have participated. All right, everybody. So with that, I'm going to let you have your evening, and maybe I'll see you Friday or Saturday. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night.